Let me ask you, have you ever caught yourself reacting to your own child in a way that reminded you of your own parents, even if you swore that you'd do things differently? Or maybe you sometimes feel unsure how to show up emotionally, wondering you'll mess them up or you'll pass on your own wounds to your children. You are not alone. Our attachment patterns don't just shape our romantic lives, they directly impact how we parent. And here's the thing, you don't have to be a perfect parent to raise secure, emotionally resilient kids. You just have to become a conscious one. So, in this episode, we are going to be diving into how your attachment style influences your parenting approach. We're going to go into healing your inner child so that you can parent from security, not reactivity. And finally, I'm going to go through some practical tools to raise securely attached, empowered children. Now, the first thing that I want to touch on today is how your parenting or how your attachment style impacts your parenting. So let's get on with that. Because whether you realize it or not, your attachment blueprint influences how you show up as a parent. So here's how different attachment styles often play out. If you have an anxious attachment style, then you may overextend yourself to your children. People please, yes, to your children, or even have difficulty holding boundaries, fearing that your child's independence means they're pulling away from you. If you have avoidant attachment style, then you may struggle with emotional closeness, leaning forward and leaning towards independence over affection, which can really unintentionally create emotional distance. Let me know in the comments if you're feeling any of this. If you are of the anxious avoidant attachment, then you could swing between becoming, emotionally available one moment and then emotionally distant the next. So you're creating this real inconsistency that can confuse your child. And obviously, if you are secure in your attachment style, then you naturally create emotional safety. You validate their feelings and you offer love consistently and boundaries. And look, none of us are perfect. Absolutely none of us. So I want you to know that, especially if you're sitting here as a mama or you're someone who in the future is looking to become a mama, it is so important that you're here and you're doing this work now. Here's an example for you. If you have avoidant tendencies, you might unintentionally shut down your child's big emotions because you were conditioned to self-soothe alone and you don't really know what to do. You don't know what the right thing to do is. You just don't know how to respond. If you're anxiously attached, you might oversoothe or overcompensate your child, struggling to let them develop independence and all the things that children need to thrive. But it's just needing a few tweaks sometimes, and absolutely no parent is ever perfect. So I want you to understand that. But the impact is that your attachment wiring shapes the emotional safety that you offer your child. That's what it comes down to, emotional safety. And that influences their ability to regulate their emotions, trust relationships, and develop secure bonds in life. What you're doing here, Mama, you're doing the work, not only for you, but for your babies. Because they depend on you. It's hard work, but you want to give them absolutely everything. Sometimes it is about, honestly, suffering in silence, almost as you go through this with yourself, to work all this stuff out, because this is what is going to make or break you as a parent and break your family's connection. And I can tell you that firsthand. So doing the work is extremely important, and children will be so forgiving if they understand that you're doing the best you can and you're always trying to be better every day. That's all children ever need to hear. So let's move on, because healing your inner child for conscious parenting is totally important. It's crucial. It's the number one thing, because to raise securely attached kids, you need to parent from your own emotional security, not from your unresolved wounds. But because you've only had one set of parents and one upbringing, then you don't know any different. So this means doing the inner work and working all this out and becoming aware of your attachment style. And that's why we're doing this work today. So here's how we do this. And here's how we start. It's reparenting yourself. So your inner child holds the emotional imprints from your early experiences. You need to offer yourself the validation, the comfort, the emotional presence you may never have received. You may still in your life never have received this. You're the only person, unfortunately, and I say this from experience, you're the only person that can give that to you. It's not about seeking someone else. It's about reparenting yourself. It's about being there for you. It's about practicing self-soothing and self-compassion when you're triggered. And it's about creating rituals that nurture your inner child. That's just like play, creativity, or simple joys that you never got to enjoy or experience as a child because maybe you weren't allowed to. Or maybe there just wasn't time for that. Or maybe it was frowned upon. Or just maybe your talents were never recognised. So it's about taking the time to do these things for you now as your own parent. Because that's what you have to be. I mean, you're the only person who's ever going to be with you. And wouldn't you like to know, aside from your creator, wouldn't you like to know that you always have someone with you, guiding you, along with your creator, parenting you, speaking to you in the voice that you know that you need to hear? Well, that's you. Be that for yourself. So the second thing is breaking the cycle of emotional neglect or inconsistency. Because if you grew up with emotional neglect or inconsistency, it may feel foreign to offer emotional presence to someone else, especially your child. So when your child expresses big emotions, slow down. Instead of shutting them down and trying to stop them or over fixing the situation to try and help them faster, heal that pain for them, you just need to breathe, encourage them to breathe. We teach our children how to be emotionally resilient through our behaviour. So that's something I am trying to work on so much because being a bit anxious myself, I'm always trying to fix things and solve things, and it's like we just need to sometimes take time to calm and breathe and teach them, literally say it like, okay, let's take a breather for a moment. Let's have 3 deep breaths. Let's calm down. So let's calm down first. Teach them how to calm down in stressful situations, then validate their feelings. I understand how you feel, I know. Tell me all about it. Show them that their emotions are safe and they're worthy of being heard, and they're worthy of being held. That they're not just irrelevant and insignificant, they're actually a very important person, a very important little being, and their feelings are very important. And then finally, notice your triggers. If your child's behaviour activates your attachment wounds, for example, feeling rejected when they assert independence, that's a biggie, then use it as a mirror. Pause and breathe and ask yourself, is this about their behaviour? Or is this my unresolved emotion? And then respond with intention, not from your own wounds. It's just so hard, right, in the moment, but it's about thinking about these things. And one thing that always helps me so much is, you look at your children, they're probably pretty identical looking to you when you were a child. So look at them and think, if that was me right now, because they are you, really, they're your DNA, usually. Look down and see them and just say, oh my God, that's me. Baby me, little me. How would I love to have been treated in this moment? When I'm in pain, when I'm hurting, when I'm stressed, when I'm, crazy. What do I need and how do I give it to them? So as an example, if you feel triggered by your child's defiance, check in with yourself. Am I reacting to my child, or am I responding to the feeling of being dismissed that I experienced as a child? I wasn't allowed to say how I felt. I wasn't allowed to be my own person. So is this really what's triggering me? And by self-regulating, you break that cycle and you start to model emotional regulation for yourself, for your children, and you see that you are not the parents that, you never wanted to be, you didn't want to be. You're the parent that you knew you could be. So, let's move on to raising secure, empowered children. Because when you parent from emotional security, you naturally raise kids who they feel safe expressing emotions without fear of rejection. They trust that love is consistent and reliable, and they develop a strong sense of self and emotional resilience. So, conscious parenting tools, just some things for you to take away today for raising securely attached children, is number one, emotional validation. So help your child name and express their feelings. So instead of just saying, oh, you're fine, try saying, oh, I see you're feeling sad. That's okay, I'm here with you. Believe me, when you stop trying to stop them from crying, they will stop. They'll stop really fast. You just hug them and hold them and say, hey, that's okay, I'm here. Literally, they'll get bored of crying in about 10 seconds. Trust me, it works every time. They just want to know that someone's there with them. And I'm not laughing at the children, I'm just laughing because I'm laughing at us, the parents. We think, oh, we need to soothe them and to solve it and all this. Literally just need to hug them. This teaches them that emotions are safe, valid, and accepted. And wouldn't you feel the same? You sometimes just need a hug, and that's it. 2, consistent presence. You don't need to be perfect, mama. You just need to be consistent. So it's about creating simple, reliable rituals, bedtime stories, check-ins, connection time. Like for me, it's with my eldest daughter. When my baby goes to bed and she's with me when he has his naps, that's our time. So we plan out what we're going to do, or we cozy up, or we do something nice, or we go out for coffee if Dad is watching, or we go out walks, or we do something we want to do together. That's our time. So create time that your children can count on with you, because don't have them craving for you. Have them knowing you're always there. It's building emotional safety and trust that they know that you're always there for them. Consistency is so important in parents, and you don't have to give some exciting things all the time. For example, my daughter will say to me all the time, so what's happening today that's exciting? And I'm like, nothing. I try and allow her to understand that yes, we have exciting times in life, but Monday to Friday is a nice calm time. We have our routines, we go to school, we have fun, we come back, we have our walk, we have our dinner, we have our bath time, we have our stories, we go to bed, we just relax. This is what we do during the week. Because honestly, I feel like in this world, and that's a different story, but we do too much, too often. Everybody thinks that they should be on the go all the time. So, no. It's about knowing that when I come home, I've got this safe, secure place. Nothing's crazy. It's all calm. You've got that calm place to be, and that's where you are. And it's a safety, it's a very safe haven that you need to create for your kids. It's so important. And then finally, I just want to touch on boundaries with love, okay? Because secure attachment isn't permissive. It's not about, oh, I love you, so do whatever. Like I say to my daughter, I have sweets, she'll ask if she's got something at school. And I'm like, well, let's see after dinner if you finish all your grains and do this, then yeah, we can do that. So it's clear and it's loving, but you're showing your child why you're setting firm, respectful boundaries, and you're doing it with compassion. And when they test the limits, just stay calm and consistent. Trust me, don't be scared. I used to be really scared. I would be like, oh God, what if she goes crazy? What if? Because she's a spirited child like myself, full of energy. I used to be like, oh, she's going to go, oh, how am I going to handle this? No, sorry, I've explained already, that's not happening. We're not doing that because that's not a good thing for you, or that's not healthy for you, or, I would be a bad parent if I let you eat all the sugar. And sometimes I'll give her just a crazy example. Sometimes she's like, I'm not wearing my jacket, or she used to when she was younger, and I would say, okay, well, it's cold, but let's just go out in our bikini. Why don't we do that? That will be nice. And she would laugh, and I'm like, yeah, so, well, it's the same thing, really. It's freezing out there. We need to put a jacket on, make a joke out of it. And really, it teaches them that boundaries are safe, not rejecting. Some children are crying out for boundaries and they're just not being given them. So they misbehave and go crazy. Really, they crave boundaries. It tells them they're safe, someone's looking after them, and someone's there to really watch over them and say yes and no. So if your child is throwing a tantrum over a boundary, just validate their feelings, but just keep holding that limit and just keep saying, I know you're upset. Say, for example, your children are used to playing on iPad all the time. Just say, you know what, I know you're upset about me turning off the iPad. It's okay to be mad. It's still going away though. And if you've thought about this thing down the line, like one thing I always said, because now they're using it for school and everything, is you may have it, but for this amount of time, and I'll put the timer on the iPad. Yeah, when they start to turn that timer and extend it, that's funny, and you'll find that on it as well. But just say, now when I ask you to turn it off, or when the timer goes off, if you do it properly, if you do it quickly, as soon as the timer goes off, then next time I'll be able to trust you maybe with extra time, or maybe next time I won't have to think about it. I'll say, oh yeah, well, I trusted her last time, so this time, so next time there'll be more time, or it'll be easier for me to decide. So it's just about showing them that their actions are going to determine my next steps in terms of boundaries. But if you have a big tantrum, then it's absolutely not going to come out tomorrow or next week or whatever. It's not going to happen, because you're just showing me that you can't handle a little bit of extra time on screen time or whatever. So you're just being really calm and then saying, oh, well done, that was so responsible. Wow, I think I'm going to be able to trust you next time with more time. Or maybe we can have an odd 5 minutes somewhere if you keep being so sensible. So really, some final thoughts for today. You are breaking generational cycles. You and your husband, your partner, whoever. You don't have to be a perfect parent, but by being a conscious one, you're literally rewiring generational patterns of attachment. You're offering your child what you may not have received, and that is emotional safety, validation, and secure love. And trust me, that's the greatest gift that you can give. So I want to hit the like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because I'm guiding you every single step of the way with your attachments. I want to also remind you of the Manifestation Bundle. You'll also see it as the Manifestation Power Pack. It is an amazing free gift that's going to help you to step into your highest self for free. You'll unlock some amazing tools there. I'm going to link it as the first link in the description under the notes for this episode. I know you're absolutely going to love it, and you can check out everything else on mrsmanifestation.com if you're interested. But until next time, I want you to just remember that being a conscious parent is not about being perfect. It's just about being your best. It's about doing your best, and just keep your little ones at heart every day. It's a constant battle sometimes, but we're absolutely going to get through it. Pop your notes in the comments about what your biggest struggle is with parenthood, or what your biggest concern is maybe, and I will hear from you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Have an amazing day.